Hello and welcome to IGPP Expert Talks. I am Heena Goswami, Editorial Consultant with IGPP, Institute for Governance, Policies and Politics, New Delhi. As we find ourselves in midst of another election cycle in India, we have with us today India's leading political analyst, Professor Sanjay Kumar. We are here to discuss how the electoral dynamics in Telangana are shaping up. Professor Sanjay Kumar is the co-director of Lokniti, a research program at the Center of Study of Developing Societies. He has published widely, written several books, articles, and is a regular contributor to India's leading newspapers and TV channels. Professor Sanjay Kumar's most recent book is Elections in India, an Overview. Welcome to IGPP Expert Talk.
Thank you for inviting me, Heena.
So Telangana is going to elections with a party, a chief minister who have been in power for past 10 years. And 10 years is a long time. What are your numbers and your observation telling you? Is there an anti-incumbency factor that is prevailing in Telangana? And what are the factors running in favor of BRS and the present chief minister?
Yes, 10 years is a long time, but that's not the only reason why we should start believing that BRS is not doing well, because there have been chief ministers in the country who have much longer tenure than 10 years. If I look at the states in the eastern part of the country, look at Pawan Chamling, who was the chief minister of Sikkim for 20-25 years, Manik Sarkar in Tripura, who was the chief minister for 20 years, Jyoti Basu, longest serving chief minister of a party in a particular state, West Bengal. Another state, the adjoining state, Naveen Patnaik, he has been the chief minister for such a long time. There are many other names. Even the state which goes to poll currently, Raman Singh has been the chief minister for 15 years. Shivraj Singh Chauhan has been the chief minister in a stretch for 15 years. Don't forget Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he was the chief minister of Gujarat, he was chief minister for more than 15 years. The state where we live, Delhi, Sheila Dikshit was the chief minister for 15 years. So I disagree with those people who tend to believe that 10 years is a long time for someone to be the chief minister, and that would necessarily mean anti-incumbency creeping in. I don't see anti-incumbency creeping in against the BRS government in Telangana. That's my sense. And I don't believe that if you are chief minister for 10 years, you are most likely to lose election. There are many examples of which I have already mentioned, that people have been chief minister if you perform well. And these days, if you are rolling out various welfare schemes, I think you are there to stay for a much longer time.
There are some opinion polls which are indicating that in this election, Congress might have an edge over BRS. And I was watching your interviews in which you differed with those opinion poll and observed that, while Congress may have gained some ground, it is not enough to be able to get an edge over BRS.
Yeah.
So leading up to election now, has BRS been able to consolidate, or has Congress been able to gain more momentum?
No, there's no doubt that Congress has gained momentum. But I would refer to the interview which you are referring to. I would say one has to be brave that I can come up with such a strong statement even without doing an opinion poll. We have not done an opinion poll in Telangana. But what makes me believe that Congress is not in a position to defeat BRS, and these are the facts. I looked at the electoral history of different states. If I look at all the state assembly elections held in this country in different states from 2013 till 2023, which is 10 years time, there are only two occasions when a party which has won the previous election with more than 8 to 9% vote share lost the next election. One is Punjab, and we know the reason. The reason was very simple. There was a split in Congress because Congress has won the last assembly election with a huge margin of 8-9% vote. But there was a split in the Congress, and then Congress got defeated in the last assembly election. The other example is of Himachal Pradesh. Last assembly election, BJP had won with a 8% margin, but the most recent assembly election, BJP lost that election. But one should be very, very careful in looking at that verdict. BJP lost election In terms of seats, they trailed behind, but in terms of percentage of vote, they did not lag behind the Congress by a huge margin. It was just 0.5% vote difference. The point I am trying to make is that I have looked at almost 22, 23 state assembly elections, and those assembly elections where the winner left behind the runner party by 8 to 9% vote. And out of these 20 examples, there are only 2 occasions when the party lost election, the next election. Look at the lead which BRS has over the Congress in the 2018 election. It's almost 18-19% lead. I don't get a sense that people are extremely unhappy with BRS. I don't get a sense that people are extremely unhappy with the sitting chief minister. And covering such a long gap, yes, Congress is on the up. There is no doubt. I do agree. Congress is on the up. But for Congress to cover up 18% vote is going to be a very difficult task. And that is why I disagree, or my own belief is that BRS is still ahead in the race. Congress is catching up. BJP is a poor third. The competition is between BRS and Congress, but I don't think BRS is in a position to be defeated by Congress, or to be said in a different manner, Congress is not that strong that they can defeat BRS in this assembly election.
To talk of the third player in this race, in the past few years, it seemed that BJP is making inroads in Telangana, especially in the urban regions. But now everybody agrees that it's a distant third in the race. So, what went wrong for BJP? Is it like the over centralization of problems, something that we also see is happening with Congress? And there's some sort of dissent brewing against the state party unit chiefs in both the parties.
You mentioned over centralization. I don't think that there is a formula that over centralization will lead to success of the party, or over centralization will lead to a demise of the political party. If we say over centralization has led to the decline of BJP in Telangana, then how do we explain the rise of BJP in other states, many other states, whether it is Gujarat, UP, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and we keep taking names of different states. So, if we say centralization, so centralization is the key factor, but in many states BJP is on the rise. There are only few states, Telangana being one of those examples, where BJP has not been able to make huge inroads. So, centralization is not the reason. I think perception is very important in Indian election, and the perception got created during last 1.5 years that it is the Congress which is in the contest. I think Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra may not have made huge impact in the North Indian state. That's my own opinion. But in some southern states, in Karnataka it made an impact, in Telangana it has made an impact. So, the perception got created that the next assembly election is going to be a contest between BRS and Congress, and the Indian voter don't want to waste their vote. So, even if there were voters who wanted to, who liked BJP, they wanted to vote for BJP, but when they realized that BJP is going to be a poor third or may not be in the contest, so some of those voters started shifting towards the Congress or some to BRS, and that is why I think, in my opinion, that is what explains BJP's further decline. I am saying further decline. I am not sure whether BJP's vote share will decline compared to 2018, but further decline means it is going to be a poor third in this electoral race.
In the run-up to the election, BJP revoked the suspension of T. Raja Singh, who had been earlier suspended because of some colorful remarks he had made. In the last interview that we had, you talked that BJP tends to fall back on its 11th player, that is the communal card, when it sees that its prospects are declining. So, revoking the suspension of T. Raja Singh, is it an acknowledgement by BJP that, it knows its prospects well and they are declining? And what kind of ramification that can have on the BRS AI MIM unity? Hyderabad, Telangana is a region that is particularly well known for its Dalit Muslim unity. Do you think bringing back such players might dent that unity to some extent, or polarize the voters?
See, if you look at the Telangana voters, Muslims are 13% of the total voters, and there is a concentration. So, Muslim vote is important. Uh, there were popular, there were, uh, news in the media that Prime Minister Modi said BRS wanted to tie up with the BJP, and this may be, while he refuted that claim that no, that's not the fact. But I think uh, the Congress and the BRS both want to mobilize the Muslim vote in their favor. BJP has not been successful, I think, also because I think they are unable to figure out whether they want to go very aggressive on the Hindutva or they have to be, like soft on the Hindutva, because when the BJP is trying to expand in one state, I think they are not in a position, and that is with reference to Telangana. They are not in a situation to figure out whether a aggressive Hindutva is going to help the BJP in Telangana or not. So I think they are in a fix, don't know which way to go. So that's the dilemma with, I think, BJP in Telangana at the moment.
In Telangana, as in other states that are going to elections this year, BJP has evolved a new strategy that is fielding its member of parliament into the assembly elections. What do you think of this strategy? And especially in context of Telangana, is it because BJP has failed to attract credible candidates that could win elections?
See, there are two ways of looking at this phenomena. While when such things happen, when the first list of Madhya Pradesh was announced, and 7 or 8 MPs and ministers were fielded as candidates. So there was a lot of discussion in the media. We all kept discussing why BJP is, going forward with this strategy. But first, look at from the people's point of view. For people, it's immaterial. It's not a big concern among the common voters. It is only a concern among the party workers. It is only a concern among people like us who discuss election or who try to analyze election. I think the strategy of BJP is very clear. They don't want to put all the eggs in one basket, which is to say, don't project someone as the chief minister, and that is why they have not projected anyone as the chief ministerial candidate in any of the three, Hindi heartland state. So the strategy is, if there is any, dissatisfaction among the Congress workers that why somebody has not been projected as the chief minister. So what they have done is to field 6-7 senior party leader to contest assembly election. So the discussion will not center around why BJP has not been able to project someone, and everybody would be working in their own field, hoping that if BJP comes to power, they may be able to become the chief minister. Or people guessing, let people guess who is going to be the chief minister, because there is a tendency, if you have only one contender or two contender, and if both are seen as the chief ministerial candidate, we have seen in the past that there are factions within the party. But if you have too many people to be seen as the chief ministerial candidate, then the factionalism is likely to be controlled, because then you can't have 10 factions in the party. So I think that is the strategy which BJP has adopted in Chhattisgarh, in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan. I sincerely hope BJP doesn't think that there is any chance for BJP in Telangana, even though they have fielded a few MPs in Telangana as well. So I think this is part of the BJP strategy of trying to divert the attention from the governance, because BJP has been in power in Madhya Pradesh and they started with that, fielding 8 MPs in the first list. So I think BJP's strategy to deflect the attention on the governance, to deflect the attention on one particular candidate, if the candidate thinks himself or herself as the party face for the elections. So I think that's BJP's strategy.
The whole nation is simmering with the issue of caste census at the moment. Do you think it's a election issue in Telangana as well? And Telangana has its own issue of regionalism and statehood. Has that lived its term? Because it's been 10 years since Telangana was formed, or does that continue to strike a chord with the voters?
See, caste census is such an issue where if you go and ask to the people, in no state I think you will get an opinion which would be against caste census. Whether it is Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, I am referring to the state which are going to poll, including Telangana. A lot of people are in support of caste census, and the reason is very simple. people belonging to the OBC caste, if you include Dalits and Adivasis in that, they are in very large numbers. So they all believe that it is in their benefit if the numbers are counted, if they get to know about the socio-economic condition, because this is going to be the base for any governmental schemes or policies for their welfare. So there is a huge support for caste census, that yes, there should be caste census. Whether people are going to vote on this issue or not, we have to wait and figure out whether people really voted on this issue or not. I doubt people are going to vote on this issue because every individual has one vote, but there are different considerations of voting, party being the foremost consideration. But if you leave aside the voting consideration and just look at what do people think about caste census, there is a huge support for caste census.
And about the issue of regionalism and statehood, does it continue?
Regionalism and statehood, that certainly continues. If you look at Chhattisgarh, I think the Congress strength in Chhattisgarh is going to be Chhattisgarhi Pehchan, and this is what Bhupesh Baghel has been, championing all the time. And this is also a tool at the hands of regional party. Also, Congress is using that tool in Chhattisgarh because BJP is, aggressively campaigning for the national identity, Hindutva and Bharatiya Pehchan. So, how do you counter? Or how do you create your own narrative? You can't create your own narrative by saying that we also want you, or we are going to give you a different kind of Hindutva identity or Indian identity. So you have to counter that with something. Regional identity is going to be a tool at the hands of regional party. I think this will work in favor of the regional party in many states, including Telangana. As I said, this is one big issue in Chhattisgarh. People are talking about their Chhattisgarhi identity, and the credit goes to Bhupesh Baghel. I'm sure when 2024 Lok Sabha elections take place in different states, different political parties would try to make this as a tool for mobilizing the voters. If you talk about Jharkhand identity, Jharkhandi identity, and similar kinds of identity in different states. So this regional identity is going to play an important role in this election also. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, there is no regional identity because more or less the same language, etc. But in states where regional party are in power, even if they are not in power, but they are strong, which includes Telangana, so regional identity is going to play an important role.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.